we will be presenting about our chosen topic, which is what do you know about salt? But first of all, I will introduce you about our team members. We have here Nur Shaliza, Batrisha, and me, Safira. Before we start, let's see what we will learn in this session. First, the definition of salt and its formula, and then the characteristic of salt, and the usage of salt and how it involves in our surroundings.
Let's take a look about definition of salt. Salt are ionic compound formed from the reaction between an acid and a base. This reaction, also known as a neutralization, which produces a salt and water. Salt consists of positively charged ion, which is cation, and negatively charged ion, which is anion, held together by an ionic bond. Fun fact, the name of sodium originates from the Arabic word natron, which refers to a type of natural mineral salt. In this slide, illustrate how the formula of salt is formed. First, acid plus base produce salt plus water. For example, hydrochlorate as acid plus sodium hydroxide as base produce sodium chloride as salt plus H2O as water. Reaction of produced salt have three types of reaction, which is neutralization, acid plus base produce salt plus water. Second, metal displacement, metal plus acid produce salt plus hydrogen. Third, carbonate reaction, carbonate plus acid produce salt plus water plus carbon dioxide. The characteristic of salt. First, structure. Most salt have a crystalline structure. Solubility. Many salt dissolve in water, but some, like barium sulfate, are insoluble. Conductivity. Salt solution electrolyte conduct electricity because of the free ion in the solution. Color. Often found colorless. Sometimes can be found orange, purple, yellow, brown, green, pink, and yellow.
General guideline of solubility of salt. We have 4 types of salt like nitrate, sulfate, chloride, and carbonate. For nitrate, all nitrate salt are soluble. Sulfate, all sulfate salt are soluble, except plumbum sulfate, calcium sulfate, and barium sulfate. For chloride, all chloride salt are soluble, except plumbum chloride, argentum chloride, and mercury chloride. And lastly, for carbonate, all carbonate salt are insoluble except sodium carbonate, ammonium carbonate, and potassium carbonate. We have 3 types of salt, such as neutral salt, acidic salt, and basic salt. For neutral salt, neither acidic nor basic. Example, sodium chloride. For acidic salt, contain hydrogen ion. They are not completely neutralized. Example, sodium bicarbonate. Basic salt contain hydroxide ion. Example, magnesium hydroxide. How salt are made? Salt are made from evaporation. Seawater is evaporated to extract sea salt. Second, chemical reaction. Reaction between an acid and a base. This is used in industrial and chemical method to make salt. Through the reaction of an acid with a base, producing water and salt. Third, mining, rock salt. Natural sodium chloride is mined from the earth. Experiment related to salt. Salt formation through the reaction of metal and acid. Example, formation of zinc sulfate. Objective to prove that the reaction of metal with acid produce salt and gases. Second experiment, salt formation through the reaction of metal and acid. Example, formation barium sulfate. Objective to produce filtration technique to separate salt precipitates from solution.
And lastly, we have the usage of salt. Salt has been variously used in many applications, including chemistry and daily life. So, what we have here is the electrolysis. Salt solution like sodium chloride are used to produce chlorine gas and sodium hydroxide. This is because salt solution are able to improve the conductivity of the electrolyte itself by providing free ions. And number 2, we also use salt in laboratory reagents. For example, copper sulfate are used in experiments. take a look at the usage of salt which involves in our daily life. First, we use salt in agriculture activity. And as what we list here, the example, number 1, the potassium nitrate. We use this as a fertilizer to provide essential potassium and nitrogen for the plant growth. Number 2, the ammonium sulfate. This is a nitrogen-rich fertilizer for acidic soil, and can help to neutralize the soil so that it can grow a plant. Number 3, the calcium phosphate. We use this in a fertilizer to supply enough and needed phosphorus to plants, and this is scientifically proven that it can help to grow a healthy leaf and also healthy fruit. Next, we also use salt in food industry. Number 1, we have the monosodium glutamate. We use this to enhance the flavor of our food, and this is also known as MSG. And number 2, the sodium benzoate. We use this as a preservative to prevent the microbial growth, and this is mainly used in instant and processed food like canned tuna and any instant food. And lastly, the sodium hydrogen carbonate. This is the main component in baking powder and soft drinks. We use this to baking a cake and also contains in soda drink. And lastly, we also use salt in cosmetics and skincare. Number 1, the zinc oxide. We use this in sunscreen and ointments for skin protection. It helps to protect our skin from UV light. And lastly, the sodium lauryl sulfate. Have you ever wondered how your soap and shampoo are able to produce a bubbly bubble foam? So this is the answer. We use sodium lauryl sulfate as an agent in soap and shampoo for foaming agent. This is all from us. Thank you, and I hope you learned something from our slide.